Once upon a midnight dreary, while I typed, weak and weary, on a ribosome-like typewriter, a curious resemblance I'd not seen before. Opened behind me, a gust flung the shutter, when, with many a flirt and flutter, a creature entered amidst the clutter, and perched upon my page of lore. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, "perched upon my page of lore. Only a crow and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or Madame, truly your forgiveness I implore." But this roosting fowl tried my patience, by abruptly halting my translations, by virtue of blocking the translocation of my page of lore. "Like a macrolide," I whispered, "bound to the 50th ribosomal core, bacteriostatic forevermore." Transfixed by this macrolide incarnation, I recalled its clinical indications: azithro and clarithromycin, treating affliction from my West Point days of yore. Now a boarded soldier isolated, with Bordetella pertussis I've suffocated. For nigh a week I've medicated, waiting, praying for my health to restore. Prophylaxed family members, whom I'd contacted only days before, must wait for me forevermore. Presently my senses grew tired, my mind ruminating on pneumonia community acquired. Strep pneumo, H flu, and moraxella, combated by penicillins heretofore, were embodied in this armor suit, rapidly decaying as rust takes root, as if by some respiratory infection acute, battled in vain by the penicillins I now deplore. Like this violet sword, a penicillin allergy I bore, until macrolides provided coverage for the pneumonia lifted forevermore. Ah, distinctly I remember, it was the bleak December, when an atypical winter had descended upon the harbor's Bostonian shore. Through my window a strange reflection, merely a snowshoer upon close inspection, like an insidious mycoplasma infection, a walking pneumonia approaching my chamber door. 'Tis some cold visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more. Yet not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, and my gaze fell upon the legion of ships anchored at the harbor's Bostonian shore. Sailors silently crept forth while docking, like a legionella pneumonia walking, and suddenly, as if mocking my sorrow for the lost Lenore, the clam-adorned Lady Chlamydia, evoking my sorrow for the lost Lenore. Surely an atypical pathogen, nothing more. Yet back into the chamber turning, all my loins beneath me burning, a portrait of Lady Chlamydia materialized, where it had not been before. One dose of azithromycin macrolide surely would dispel this unwelcome bride, and erythromycin with scarlet hide would her infant's sight restore. Preventing too gonococcal infection, it drops an elixir of some invention from above my chamber door, vision preserved forevermore. Deep into the darkness peering, I sat there, wondering, dreaming, fearing. Visions of a parasitic vampire Babesian brandishing her cross wrought from iron ore. A minotaur diphtherian with bullneck from Corynebacterium. And as I succumbed to my delirium, a scratching at my chamber door. Bartonella, a ghastly feline apparition, scratching feverishly at my chamber door, trapped in this nightmare forevermore. "Macrolide," said I, "thing of evil, macrolide still if bird or devil, to what end doth you disturb my volumes of forgotten lore?" I shrieked, my sanity undone, as my mockingbird screeched, "Avium," conjuring some mycobacterium, creeping, seeping into my compromised core. Azithromycin, I cried, will protect my brethren with less than 50 CD4, and lift this hex forevermore. Instantly the visions ceased. Then, as if by some GI motility increased, a dampness spread, from I not know where accumulating on my chamber floor. Jaundiced with fear, I sat there pleading, bile no longer excreting, and with prolonged QT a heart was beating neath my chamber floor. A torsade of points endlessly repeating, beating neath my chamber floor. The crow looked on, nothing more. That crow, that macrolide incarnation, sends one final ominous manifestation. A cytochrome carriage overturned begets P450 inhibition forevermore. Clarithromycin perched, still portending a gruesome and unfortunate ending. Helicobacter pylori thus descending to return me to my lost Lenore. I reach for her, clarithromycin watching o'er. My soul lifted evermore.